Hey everyone, how's it going? Azrin here, owner of the Calgary Language Nerds, and welcome to today's Learn Gujarati with Me podcast episode and, of course, YouTube video. Today, I'd like to clear up something that I've been getting a lot of questions about. Fun fact you may not know, these Gujarati lessons I make, a lot of the stuff I make is actually mirroring or supporting the progress of the private students that I have. So a lot of the private students I have now, they've been asking me kind of the same questions on this one topic. And I think it's something that there's zero videos on the internet. And so I think I would like to make it to clear it up because like there's nothing on it. And it took me years to figure out the pattern. I couldn't figure it out. Now that I actually know it, like I want to kind of document it and share it with you guys. So what I want to share has to do with the Gujarati pronunciation and also the Gujarati alphabet. Let me share my screen. So first of all, if you can't read the Gujarati script, there's some resources you can use to learn how to read. So this is a page here I've recommended before. I'll put the link in the episode box, description box. There's like printout sheets with the whole alphabet. You can see it, right? You can print it off. There's tracing sheets. You can trace all the letters. You can even get individual printouts for each individual letters. You can practice writing them. It gives you the stroke order, which is really useful, right? So that's really, really helpful if you're learning to read and write. I'll also show you this website here. I think there's a PDF of this as well somewhere. I don't know where it is, but they have an app or something. Yeah, they have an app as well. So I've never actually tried it. But anyway, what I like about this page here is it has the Barakshari really, really nicely written out. So you can actually see all the consonants with the vowels beside them. So ka, ki, ku, ke, kai, right? So on and so forth. So you actually see all that like in one single page. So I'll link this in the episode description box as well. By the way, if you can't read at all, like I understand it's kind of overwhelming, but these are like resources you can use. It doesn't take that long to learn how to read. This one here is kind of a similar thing. I actually probably won't include this one, honestly. I'll just stick with this one here. Let's close that. And then one last thing as well that I'll just show you, just for your reading purposes, if you are learning to read and want to practice, I'm going to put a link, sorry, to this playlist in the episode description box. This is such a useful like video playlist with 21 videos. If you want to just get like, let's say you can kind of read the Gujarati letters, you're like, oh, I can kind of read the letters, like, but I want to practice with short words. This is a playlist with 21 videos filled with all sorts of short words, and they even categorize them. So like, unfortunately, it is written in like Gujarati, so you might not understand what these mean, but but like they actually group it. So it's like, okay, these words all have O vowel. These words are all with blended letters. These words are all with this vowel. These words all do like this. These words are all, so they're all kind of categorized as well. So really useful playlist that I highly recommend as well for those that want to just practice reading some short words. Okay. Anyway, so what I want to go through today are a few things that there's no real content about on the internet about Gujarati pronunciation, and it ties directly to the Gujarati script. So first of all, let me pop over here. Excuse me. Okay. First things first. There are letters, depending on there's a lot of different pages that have the Gujarati alphabet. This is not the only page, but I want you to know this. This letter here doesn't exist anymore. Like you're never going to see this. So like you're just not going to see it. Okay. This one underneath, you're also not going to see it. So sometimes you'll have websites that have these letters. Then I know myself, I used to be really confused. Like, what are these? Like my teacher didn't teach me. I don't see them. I don't hear the, like what? Well, for some reason, I don't know if they've historically stopped using it. I genuinely don't know the answer. But like, yeah, like just, I don't know, like they don't exist anymore. So if ever you're learning to read, like those sounds don't exist. Also on the reading front, we'll get to pronunciation in a moment, but on the reading front, if you ever see a word with two dots, pretend the two dots aren't there. It's pronounced the same way. Okay, so I know like when you look at a Barakshari page, for example, if you are learning that, like we pop over here, like you're going to see, for example, like, go, gaha, right? Gaha with an H sound. Just honestly, just pretend it's just, no, it's not H. That's like, no, it's not, no, like that's not just no. Let's just say no, okay? If you ever see a word with two dots, just pretend you're never gonna see it, first of all. You're pretty much never gonna see it. But if sometimes you do see it, you can kind of pretend the two dots aren't there and you pronounce the word the same way. Okay. Also, this letter here, if you're using this sheet particularly, just ignore this one too. Also, on the pronunciation front, as well as the Gujarati alphabet front, this letter here and this letter here, they both have a sh. Once upon a time, they were pronounced differently. Nowadays, they're pronounced the same way. They're both pronounced as sh, like in the word shoe in English. Okay. Also, on sh, both of the sh letters, for both of them, many Gujaratis pronounce them like an S. They'll say sa, not sha, but sa. So that's pretty common knowledge, but I'll share that right now anyway. Let's clear this. Let's clear this. Let's clear this. Let's clear this. Okay, next thing on the alphabet and pronunciation are on these vowels up here. We have two E sounds and two U sounds. They are pronounced the same way, or rather, the two E's are pronounced the same way. The two U's are pronounced the same way. So if we look on the sheet, it says, like, even if we look over here, we pop up on the Dictionary page. Like, you might wonder, like, wait a sec, why is it key, like, two, like, what? What's going on? Or like, cool, why? Like, why is this a two? Like, what's going on here? Once upon a time, Gujarati used to distinguish. They used to distinguish between. This is what I think it is. I'm 95% sure this is true. Once upon a time, if a sound had a short vowel or a long vowel, it changed the meaning of the word. So if I said like ki versus ki or ku versus ku, like I held it real, I really stretched it out versus not stretch it out, that would change the whole meaning of the word. Nowadays, they only have the short variant and the long variant is gone. Even though in writing we still see it, it's not pronounced differently. So ki, this is ki, this is ki. This is ku, this is ku. There's no difference, right? For all the letters. Gu, gi, they're all the same. So that's worth knowing. It took me years to figure that out because no one could answer the question for me when I was asking them. Okay, other things about the pronunciation. We're going to talk about this little dot on top. People cannot, like, no one can, oh my God, no one could teach me how that dot worked. Thank God I took linguistics classes and like phonetics classes and like just like linguistic logic classes. Like, so I was able to figure it out pretty quickly. But like most of the time, people cannot, like, it's really tough to figure out. So okay, let's write a couple things here. So Gujarati, sometimes you're going to see a dot on top of a word or a letter. So if I, for example, like the word for I or I am, right? Who something true, right? Let's just say who Azran true. There we go. I am Azran, right? On the who and the true, we have that dot on top. By the way, if you're not learning to read, this still applies to you. It's still going to apply. So what that does is it makes the sound nasal. So if I take the dot off, this would be who, Azran, chu. I'm actually trying very hard to not nasalize it, but it's actually who, and up at my nose like I have a cold. Who, Azran, chu, very nasal in your nose. So that's what that dot is doing. It's you're gonna like pretend you have a little cold and you're kind of stuffed up when you say these words. Now, good news is if you don't nasalize it, it doesn't actually change much. When you're talking quickly, you might not nasalize, to be frank with you. But that's what that dot on top means. And Gujarati does have a lot of nasalization where you nasalize sounds. Now, so that's worth knowing. Like you do have that nasal factor when you're talking Gujarati. Now, it is worth pointing out that nasal doesn't just mean, let me start with future. You might think, oh, nasal, nose, talk out of my nose. Great. Not quite that simple. If you ever take a linguistics class, you'll learn that there are also nasal consonants. There are also consonants that are nasal. I'll demonstrate it for you now. I want you to try and say the following. I want you to try and go, like you're going to say like mom, right? Like that M sound. Just hold the M like, there's just do that M, hold that M really loud, or really long. Try it at home. And what I want you to do is I won't do it for you. While you're saying plug your nose. Do it. Here we go. Go and then plug your nose, but keep saying Don't stop after you plug your nose. Watch what happens. I'll let you try. Well, now you know you can't do it. Watch. I'm not just stopping the humming. I physically can't. Sorry, I know it's ridiculous, but you physically can't make when your nose is plugged. Why? Because M is a nasal consonant. So M and N. So I'm going to share my screen again. Oh my God, I have allergies today. Now my nose is all funny. Oh my goodness. I'm going to stop this. I need to blow my nose because 1 second. I'm going to stop the recording. 1 second. Hang on. Okay, and we're back. Oh my God, I've got allergies today, so plugging my nose is not wise. Anyway, so in Gujarati, just because something is nasal, it doesn't mean that we make it like we add like a and we add like a nasal quality. Sometimes when a word is nasal, we add the letter M or we add the letter N. So I'll give you an example. Like if I wrote something like, if I can think of an example here, if I had okay, this is not a real word. I'm just gonna write it though. Okay, again, not a real word. This is ke, nasal, duh, right? So ked, but we have a nasal. So you might think, oh, it's ked, ked. No, what they do is they're gonna add letter N. Again, this is not a real word. I'm just demonstrating the concept. This would be kend, kend, right? I'll give you another example. If I had something like, let's do, I don't know, I can't think of a single word right now. It's a real word, so I have to go with fake words. If I'd like this word, don't ask why I'm doing this, but this would be this. If you just read it, it would be bub, right? Actually, let's not do this. Let's actually make it. Oh, actually, we can do this. We can do this word actually. I'll double check the spelling of this actually because I can't remember if that's the correct spelling. We should double check that, but I'm like 99% sure it is. Yeah, it is. Okay, perfect. It is. Okay. So we take a word it's actually a real Gujarati word. So this would be ba, duh. If you just read it letter by letter. But now we have a mindu on top. So we add an N. Bund. Right? That means closed, by the way. Closed or close. Right? Closed. Right? That's what that would mean. I'll give you one more example. If I'd this is not a real word, but this would be bub. But because we have this mindu on top, it becomes bumb. Bumb is not a real word at all. Now, the question is, why the heck is it? Let me write another word. Right? This is this is who with the dot. This is just who, but nasal. Who in your up in your nose. I make it nasal. Who, right? In your nose. This is bund. This is bumb. Again, bumb is not a real word, but right? This is the word I. So the question is, and this is what people don't often understand, is how do I know if I just pretend and make say the sound in my nose? How do I know if that mindu was an N? Or how do I know if the mindu was an M? How do I know? How do I know that? Well, here's how the logic works. You look at the following letter. If the following letter is a letter that requires the use of your tongue, it's going to be an N. So bund, na 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 na. Use your tongue for that letter. Na 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 na. If it's going to be bund, duh, sorry, duh, da 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 da. Where you're using your tongue for that letter, therefore we're gonna make it an N. If the next letter after the mindu requires the use of your lips, that's using your lips, right? This is gonna become an M. The mindu becomes an M sound. Following? If that mindu is on top of a vowel and there's no letter after. You're like, there's nothing after it, right? Now it's just going to be up in your nose. Ooh, up in your nose, right? There's no like M or N. So if I write that out for you, right? It's N if the letter after the dot is pronounced with your tongue. M if the letter after the dot is pronounced with your lips. Just nasal, like in your nose, if the dot is above a letter with a vowel and there is no consonant that comes after it. That's roughly speaking the rule of how that works. So people have questions, particularly when they're learning to read, like they're like, what the heck? How do I pronounce that? Like, how do I do that? Well, that's how you figure that out. Okay. Let me clear this here. Okay, two things. Yes, two last things. I'll finish this video. So the other thing that's often confusing is we pop over here. If you ever look at websites on the internet, excuse me, you're gonna see the use of A's versus two A's. So this is a little bit complicated. It's a bit complicated because we don't have a standardized way to write in Gujarati with an ABC alphabet. We don't have a standardized way to do it. So how do I do this? So let me stop my screen share. If you have a single A in Gujarati, depending on who gave it to you, it's either going to be the sound not not like big mouth, look at my mouth, no, not but not like see how it's rounded and closed, sound. So like, even like if I pop my screen again, share my screen again. So this is ga. It's not ga. It's not ga. Ga. This is ga. This is ka. Ga. Oh my god. Oh, what? Oh, I don't like that he's didn't. Oh, that's so annoying. I don't like that he wasn't consistent. This is ga. He hasn't. You see how? See, this is a live example. A live example of no standardization. Here, ga, ka. Now he's like, you know what? Let's skip that system. I didn't even like see that till now, actually. Let's just skip it. You know what? Never mind. This is just ga. No A after that. But generally, like two A's will be one A is Okay, that's a general rule of thumb to keep in mind. Whenever I'm like writing for people in non-Gujarati script, I always try and write that way. I think in Hindi, I'm pretty sure they're consistent with that. Again, cha cha, cha cha, right? So there's that worth knowing. Now, what's really confusing for people who are learning to read is this. Let me write here. Let's write a word. Let's write let's do, for example, I can't think of a real word. No, my brain is not coming up with the real words. I keep getting fake words in my head. Okay, we'll just stick with a fake word. Doesn't matter. Let's just write this. Not a real word, but it's okay. Okay. This is gum. Now, what people get confused about is they're like, how is this gum? Like there's something almost like, where's the Where is it? Because remember, we have an vowel. If learning to read, this is the vowel sound, right? This is Where is it? Where's that vowel? Well, listen carefully. Every single consonant in Gujarati has an invisible vowel sound attached. So this is like this is gum, right? If I had like, I don't know, like chal, like whatever. This would be chal. There's an invisible after the cha. chal, ka. There's an with every consonant. There's an invisible sound that's not written, but it is pronounced. And it's a bit confusing because like you don't see it, right? But you have to listen for it. Now, the other confusing thing, unfortunately, is and some of you might be thinking this now. It's like, well, hang on a second, Azran. Hang on. If there's an invisible vowel sound, why isn't this gamma? Why is this word not ga ma gamma? Well, this took me forever to figure out. I was like, how the heck do I know? Well, when a word ends in a consonant, that final consonant in the word loses the invisible vowel sound. So this is not chala, this is chal. This is not kama, this is gum, right? We lose that invisible vowel sound. I hope that's making sense. Again, this is for people who are reading, obviously. For people who don't want to read, that's okay. But I'll give you one last thing with this. It's a little confusing, but like I really hope if you have questions, please ask. I do understand what I'm explaining is not simple. So when I write, yeah, actually, that's probably a good place to let's probably a good place to leave that, honestly. Like, yeah, like so we just have the invisible vowel sound attached to all consonants, right? Like, like this would be dud, right? This would be dud, right? Not da, right? Because remember, we this final consonant, we lose the invisible we lose that invisible vowel. But for this first one, we keep the invisible so dud, dud. Right? These are not real words, by the way, just random letters put together. So dud. Okay. Um. Yeah, that's probably good on that front. Uh, yeah, I think that's probably. I almost like wish I had something else on this, but that's kind of all I. It's really all I got. Okay. Last final thing on pronunciation and also the script as well. So if let's take a word like actually two quick things. One of them is kind of common knowledge. I'll still say it since we're on the topic. This letter here, I forgot to say it earlier. Oh, actually, yeah, it is written here. Sometimes this letter people will say it's like a Z or a Z. They'll say Z, but usually people pronounce it as cha. So ja. So again, that's pretty common knowledge, though, I think. Okay, final thing, then we'll finish. I want to point out two letters here. Letter da and letter ara. There we go. Da and ara. They sound different, right? Da, ara. Da, ra. Da, ra. Da, ra. They sound. Oh, actually, I have two. I have two. Oh, sorry, I have two more things actually. Last pronunciation point. Anyway, but da, ra, da, ra, da, ra. Like, cool. Fair enough. They sound different. Duh, they're different. They're different letters. Of course they are. Fun fact: when duh is in the middle of a word or the end of a word, it pretty much always sounds like ara. For example, a real word for you. Kaguro. Kaguro is a crow. Kaguro is not pronounced kagdo. Kagdo. No, it's not kagdo. It's kaguro. Kaguro. So duh in the middle of a word, or if it's a final consonant of a word, is pretty much always pronounced as ara. Or like the word for car, gadi, right? You could say gadi, you could, and some people do, but a lot of people say gadi. 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 That's how they pronounce it. Kaguro. Kaguro. They pronounce it with that L sound, that funny little L sound. It's like kaguro. Gadi. Jhad. Jhad. Now it's jhad is how it's spelled. Jhad. But people usually say jhad. They jhad shit, yeah. Again, some people do keep the duh sound, they do, but like it's really common to switch it. Okay, final thing. I just really want to get this documented because like no one talks about these pronunciation points. No one talk like there's nowhere you can find it to my knowledge. So like I want to document it and like put it out. So the final thing on pronunciation has to do with it's a very tiny nuance. I don't think I've ever talked about this before. It's specifically on the letters. This whole row here. This guy down here. And then probably once upon a time for one of these sh sounds. I don't know, but if I had to guess, probably one of the two, probably. So I'll just highlight one of them for now. I'll leave. Oh yeah, I'll highlight one. So Gujarati is a language. I don't know if I've said this before in a video. Maybe Gujarati is a language where we don't only utilize the tip of our tongue, we also utilize the underside of our tongue. So we actually use the ball. In English, we don't do that. We don't flip our tongue upside down to say letters, but Gujarati does. So for example, in the letters da ta da dha, da ta da dha, like these four, the two T's and the two D's here, right? And ara as well. Oh, there's one more, ara as well, right? But let's start with the T's and the D's. We actually, forgive me for getting close to the camera, but like, I don't know if you can see, like my tongue is literally folded backwards. Like I literally like if I had a piece of paper, do I have paper near me? I don't, but like if I did, like you're actually folding, like you're folding your tongue against the roof of your mouth, like like see how I can fold it on my teeth, like see how it's folded back. You do that on the roof of on the roof of your mouth, and then you say da 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 ta da da, and that's like the perfect quote unquote way to pronounce those letters. If you didn't do that, which I actually didn't for most of my life, I didn't know that until I started to listen more carefully. I was like, wait a second, something's going on here. Like I have a bit of an accent. I noticed earlier. I was like, this is a couple of years ago. Like there's something going on here. That's what they're doing. That gave me a bit of an accent years ago. It's like, oh, it's da ta da da. Okay, this one too. Ana is pretty much just the letter N. Na 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 na. But we use the bottom side of our tongue and we flick it. We flick our tongue like this, like that. We're flicking our tongue like you're strumming a guitar with the bottom of your tongue. Like, and same with this sound, same thing. Like you're stringing a guitar with the bottom of your tongue. The guitar is the roof of your mouth, and you're going like that's what you're doing. And I bet once upon a time, I don't know, but if I had to guess, probably this letter here in the past was the same thing. It was sh with the bottom of your tongue. It'd be like, can I do it? Let me see. I'd have to practice. I've never actually even practiced that. Like a sh sound. Probably. I don't know. I'm guessing, but that's probably if I had to guess using like a linguistic logic, it's probably what was going on. Okay, that is our big pronunciation lesson today and reading lesson and all that. So thank you very much for. I'll put all these links, by the way, all these different links. I'll put them in the description box so you have them. And yeah, see you next time. Aujo. Bye.